politician, elected official, state rep, police officer, he decided to threaten to basically shoot up the police department, to get into a shootout with the cops. You haven't heard of this story. Put up the picture full mass. GOP state rep's police career ended after making threats in New Hampshire. GOP state representative Mr. John Stone's law enforcement career ended when he threatened to kill fellow police officers in a shooting spree. And he also decided to say he would murder his chief only after he sexually assaulted the chief's wife and the chief's children. So let me follow the threat here. Keep his picture up. He was first going to sexually assault the chief's wife and the chief's children, kill the chief, and then he would in fact engage in killing other police officers. All while he was already under scrutiny for his inappropriate relationship with a teenage child. That's according to an internal investigation. The report has finally been released this week. It took long enough. Stone, a twice elected Republican state representative of Claremont, has been fighting to keep those reports secret for years. Last month, the New Hampshire Supreme Court ruled that Stone could not block their release in response to this reporter's 2020 right to know request, ending years of legal challenges. The documents portray Stone in 2006 as an out of control and unstable man who made colleagues worry about their own safety. Stone had a reputation for being aggressive on the job and had already been disciplined for assaulting a mentally disabled man during an arrest and for failing to arrest an intoxicated driver who a short time later nearly hit a police cruiser in Vermont. But the investigation into his inappropriate relationship with a 16-year-old girl, a child at Stevens High School, started when she was 15. Brought out a violent and deranged side of the politician and cop that had other officers afraid of him. That's according to the investigation conducted by a now deceased Claremont detective, Colby Casey. Quote, if he gets fired, people are afraid he will go postal, end quote. Then Claremont detective Jesse Vazina told Casey, quote, he makes me nervous. As far as after a confrontation with him, he may try to do something to my wife or my family, end quote. Generally, people think he is crazy and wonder why he is a police officer, end quote. Vazina told Casey he started staying up late with a loaded gun in case Stone ever came to his house. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. But already you see the picture. The police are afraid of their colleague. He doesn't have some kind of special rank. He's not a deputy chief. He's not the captain of the police department. He doesn't have political influence. He just has a gun, and people who work with him who have guns are afraid that he's a murderer. Literally, they think that he's a murderer. He still is employed. They're asking out loud questions. This guy is so extreme and insane, they are wondering, how is it possible that he's actually a police officer? I would submit that's probably precisely why he's a police officer. There's more. During his interview, Stone told police he first met the child when responding to a prowler call. But their relationship started up after a later incident when the girl called the police because her mother had not come home that night. The mother turned out to have been with a male companion that night. Stone acknowledged he called the girl frequently and saw her many times while he was on duty. On the phone, they frequently talked for more than an hour, Stone told Chase. During this investigation, Stone was ordered not to contact the girl. Okay, so the investigators said, hey, listen, you know that child you keep contacting? You're ordered not to do that anymore. Well, he should have been arrested. It should have been investigated criminally immediately. So he violated that order, okay, and spoke to her by phone at least twice, according to Chase. Chase found Stone engaging in conduct unbecoming of a police officer and neglected his duties. Chase recommended a 5-day suspension and moving Stone to the day shift instead of his preferred midnight shift. Still not recommending him to be fired or recommending him to be arrested. Weeks after Chase wrapped up his investigation into Stone, March 8th, 2006, Casey was called in to investigate Stone's alleged threats against other cops. Chief Alex Scott and his family and Chase. Casey's report is heavily redacted and there are no public details of the alleged threats against Chase. Casey spoke with more than a dozen officers who heard Stone make threats against Scott and his family, as well as threats to kill other officers and staff in a shooting spree at the station. Officer Matt Foss told Casey, stability is a day-to-day thing for John, end quote. Once again, not fired. Now, if you had a job, let's say at Wendy's, and I'm not knocking anyone who works at Wendy's, any legal job is a noble job. You do something like that at Wendy's, they will fire you immediately. They will forward your information to a criminal agency for investigation immediately. Why? Because Wendy's has standards. They have standards. And they have a protocol for things like this when other employees are put at risk because they have HR standards. There's more. Casey reports he concluded Stone lied during the investigation, during the interview, and got Stone to agree to sit for a polygraph exam. Casey reports Stone failed the exam when he denied the alleged threats. Stone does not currently appear on the evidence as exculpatory evidence schedule for officers with known credibility concerns, though lying is typically enough of a reason to get a person placed on the EES. Now, let me explain this part. There's a list that prosecutors typically have that say, hey, listen, these cops, they lied. They've been known to lie. Be very careful if you utilize them in your prosecution. For some reason, this guy never made that list. It was hella ironic. Somebody kept him off of that list. He didn't keep himself off of it. After Stone was terminated from the department, finally, he appealed through the police union. With all of these problems, including dating a minor, okay? All of these problems, he still utilized the police union mediation process and came to an agreement with the department and the city in exchange for leaving his position and giving up his certification to be an officer. In New Hampshire, the department would purge his personal file of the internal affairs reports. Why? Why would you give him a benefit? There is nothing that says this individual is deserving of a benefit. There's more. The department complied with the agreement. The department complied with the agreement, but kept copies of the report separately in its internal affairs record. Stone currently sits on the House Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee. He currently sits on the House Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee. After leaving police work, Stone also got a job as a prison guard in Vermont. And he started a business selling guns. This part. Does any of this make sense to anyone listening? It doesn't matter your political ideology. You can be a guns person. You can generally support law enforcement, that's fine. You can be on the left, on the right, in the middle, or somewhere on the edges. It doesn't matter, none of this makes sense. He's investigated for having an inappropriate relationship with a child. His colleagues who are police officers stay up at night with a loaded gun because they think he's going to kill one of them or their family members. He threatens the chief. He threatens the chief's wife. He threatens the chief's children, but he's still employed. How does this happen? He then create some scenario in an investigative process where they are willing to basically hide his record from the general public for years, clearing the way for him to amass more power, for him to get another job in corrections, for him to be a tyrant again. Whatever adverse actions this individual has committed after this investigation is also connected to that department for protecting him, not letting the public know the true nature of his extreme behavior. I'm looking for an update of this story. He's on the Criminal Justice Committee, Jackson. He has more power now politically than ever before.
Yeah, and really what's going through my mind is the culture of brotherhood really that thick? Is it that important? Because this guy just seems dangerous in every way imaginable. Like he doesn't have any limits. And other than the culture of brotherhood, he's a nobody. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't hold some type of real special rank to where people can't touch him. I guess the culture is really that important because when the comment that you read when they said that stability is a day-to-day thing, like I mean that's an understatement.
Right, for this guy.
Yeah, that's an extreme understatement because typically stability being a day-to-day thing could be people just having like mood swings and stuff, or stuff that doesn't lead them to being like, hey, I'm gonna do this and that to your wife and kids, like because this is a type of person that you better put him in prison or somebody's gonna get rid of him because that's really what we're dealing with.
Or he'll get rid of somebody, right?
Exactly.
He'll do it.
One of the two. One of the two. Like that's what we're dealing with because you cross certain lines in life and it's like, all right, now something gonna happen to you. But again, I guess the culture of brotherhood is really that important.
I don't understand it. It seems like at a point, especially when a cop starts threatening to sexually assault your wife and your children, that the blue shield will cease. That's the barrier you cannot cross. And now we have to deal with you as if you never wore that uniform before and criminally prosecute. All right, we'll bring you updates as they come. As I said, I do expect updates to come soon.